everybody, Ethan Malay here with another No Rules review. Today we're going to be looking at The Great Zimbabwe by Splatter. This is a 2 to 5 player game where players find themselves taking on the roles of African tribes, worshipping their own deities and building up their great stone Zimbabwe's in deference to these deities. This is a game of logistics. Players are going to be building craftsmen who are going to take natural resources, convert them into trade goods, and those trade goods then have to be brought into the temples, actually move to the temples in order to build the temples up. As temples get taller and taller, you get more victory points, and then you win. Now, there is not a set victory point threshold in this game. That's what makes this one of the more unique games. As you gain the ability to do things in this game, your victory point threshold goes up and up and up. You want to be able to build a craftsman? It's going to cost you more points to win the game. You want to worship a certain deity to allow you to sort of break the rules? It's going to cost you more victory points to win the game. So as you increase an ability, you have to do more. So you can give yourself all the capabilities you want in the game, but you're going to have to do a lot to be able to win, versus somebody who is specialized more and maybe isn't needing to do all these things. They're going to have a lower victory point threshold. Now, obviously, since they can do less, it's going to take more to reach that. But it's neat. It's a real balancing act of how much do I want to do versus how much return is that going to get me. What's also neat in this game is that players set their own sort of economic system. When you build a craftsman, you set a price on it. Price in this game is in cattle. They're little silver and gold cattle. They're very, very neat looking. You set the price. You set it too high, people might not buy from you. You set it too low, you're not getting enough of a benefit for other players using your craftsman. If you're the only person in the market producing clay, it could be good to jack up the price if everybody needs to use you. So that's another neat thing, is that players sort of have to build up that ecosystem. Now, Great Zimbabwe is unique in that with new players, you're actually going to have a very short game, because new players tend to just do the basic craftsman, and they build up a few temples to a middling level, and they get enough points to win the game. As you gain more experience, you begin to learn to use the secondary craftsmen, which need to use primary craftsmen. And since there are nicer goods out there, nobody's temple wants these basic goods. You want the nice goods. So you can actually limit what another player is doing by building a secondary craftsman, making their entire enterprise not obsolete, but now subservient to your enterprise. So that's neat, that you can change the pace of the game by altering where the demand is. Like I said, it is a game of logistics, so it's fun. You're looking at the board. You got to figure out where best to place your temples, because temples can only pull things from about 3 spaces away. Water counts as one big space, so big bodies of water will change how the map works. You can use other people's temples as sort of transit hubs to move things, and it's a great game. It's also, I think it's one of their prettiest games. I mean, you see the cover art; it's very nice. It's pretty simple, but it's very pretty. And this is what the game tiles look like. So people who criticize things like Food Chain Magnate for the Spartan aesthetics, you see, I mean, Splatter's sort of always been about that. But what's neat is that these tiles, which make up the game, the player size dictates how big the map is, and you assign these randomly. So these bodies of water might not touch, or in other games they might touch, and that vastly changes how the game will play. Every time you play this game, you're probably going to get a different map, and with a different map, there's a whole different idea of what the best strategy is. And you got to sort of work with the other players. You need all the goods as you progress your temple up and up, so you're gonna have to dip into other people's businesses. You're gonna have to use their businesses, their producers, to be able to increase your own victory point threshold. And while it can seem tempting to say, I'm getting a few cows here and there because other people are using my stuff, you don't want them using it that much, because as the craftsmen use natural resources, they use them up for the round. So people later in turn order might find that they can't do anything. I mean, you can always do something on your turns. You can always put out new temples, but player order in this game is so crucial to figure out. And you do it through this very unique bidding mechanism where first person bids 1 cow, second person has to bid 2, third bid is 3 cows, 4 cows, so on. but you're spreading them out evenly amongst everybody. So everybody's bids, as they get added up, get spread out. So you sort of redistribute the wealth every round. And that means you can sort of rely on sort of pushing somebody beyond what they should to have them bid more to get you more cows. And maybe that bid's enough that you now have the cows you need, or maybe you overbid by 1 cow, and now you can't do what you want to do. This, for anybody who has tried Food Chain Magnate, I would suggest trying the Great Zimbabwe next. If you tried the Great Zimbabwe, go check out my Food Chain Magnate review. I think those are the two spotters that are most similar in how they feel. Now, they obviously play very different, but I think they're the most similar. They're the most mainstream of the spotter games, but they still have that nice spotter charm that that most of us enjoy. This one's never leaving my collection. This is probably my third favorite spotter game of the bunch. I would recommend this to anybody who wants to try a different, meatier game with some logistics thrown in. I don't think there are enough logistics games out there, and this is certainly one of the best. This has been Ethan Millay with another No Rules review of the Great Zimbabwe. If you like what you see, share, like, subscribe. Every little bit helps, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye now.